we are lucky to have Scott present the Project 7 Research Your Topic. So his speech title is Discretization. So we'll have Scott to have his speech. Thank you.
To clarify, this is actually speech number 8. Show of hands. How many people have a smartphone? Angie, put your hand up. Everybody in the room pretty much has a smartphone. Smartphones hit market saturation, really like a critical point of saturation in about 2009. And the world looks a lot different than it did just 7 years ago. 7 years ago, the world looked pretty much like this. I know you think it should be rounder with more oceans, but trust me. All of our organizations were these monolithic things. You had this central organization, a bunch of nodes that connected with users that were kind of tied to it. For example, you might have, say, a hotel, and the hotel would have a bunch of rooms that were in the hotel, and then you'd have the users. But it's not just a hotel, it could be a rental car agency, it could be your maid service, it could be your cab services. Everything was organized this way. And with the advent of smartphones, we've been doing things a little bit differently. Now we have organizations like Airbnb, where there's no central building, there's just a bunch of independent nodes that operate on their own to interact with users. And I haven't really discovered a formal term for this, so what I'm calling it is discretization, which is the process of taking this monolithic object and breaking it up into these small, discrete parts that can operate independently. And by doing that, you can increase the convenience of the system, but also massively increase the efficiency. Consider how this was done with Uber, with Airbnb, with TaskRabbit, with GetAround for rental cars. It's being done all over the place. So as a building engineer, I asked myself, can we apply this strategy to buildings? It's very non-intuitive. You wouldn't think that you can. But it's exactly what Deloitte did when they designed the Edge. This is the Edge. It's a building in Amsterdam. It's the smartest building in the world, and it is the most sustainable office building in the world. It earned a BREEAM sustainability score of 98.4%, which is unbelievable. It produces more renewable energy on site than it consumes, which is astounding just given the sheer size of it. So how does this building work? Let's say you start your job at the Edge. Well, the first thing that you do is you download the app. You get out your phone, and of course this building, because this is 2016, it has an app. And you download it, you drive to the building, and the app will tell you where to park. Once you get there, you don't have an assigned desk. Instead, you choose what desk type you want. Maybe you want to sit in one of these little private desks. Maybe you want to sit in the lounge area. Maybe you want to sit in a concentration room. Maybe you want to sit in the open office. You choose, and then the app will decide where in the building you go. Once you go there, you can manually change your light settings. Do I think this space is too bright? Do I think it's not bright enough? You use the app, and the light right above your head will get dimmer or brighter depending on your preferences. There's also, within the ceiling tiles, there's radiant heating and cooling. And so you can change the temperature that you like. Do you like it a little bit warmer, or do you like it a little bit colder? And that's interesting. Well, studies have found that when you give users this amount of control, they actually use less energy than if you were just to heat the building and to light the building as a single unit. People tend to use less when they're given more control. But they've actually done a little bit more work. They've done something a little bit more clever with this information. So I'm going to demonstrate to you guys how it works. Let's say you've all decided to work at the Edge. You've already been there for about a week. You've chosen your seats, you've set your light settings and your temperature settings. Now I'm the Edge, I've eaten all that data, and I want to use it. So in front of you, you'll find little Post-it notes. Please pick them up and take a look at the number. Those are your heat settings that you like. Maybe you like it 71 degrees, maybe you like it 68 degrees. So now everybody please stand up. Now if your setting is between 60 and 70, I want you to sit on this side of the table. if your setting is between 73 and 77, sit on this side of the table, and anybody in the middle with 70, 71, 72, please sit on the base of the table with your timer. Thank you. Take your Post-its with you if you're moving. That's okay. Oh, that's okay. Okay, so now after a bit of shuffling, you're all in the right space. And now here's what's interesting. Let's say it's winter, and it's about 55 degrees outside, and where the building is at an internal temperature of about 68 degrees. Now you guys like it hot, so we've turned up the heat over here to whatever, 74, 75 degrees, so that you're all comfortable. But over here, we have this whole section of the building that we don't even need to heat. It's crazy. And the other thing is that, yesterday, Jacinda, she turned her heat up all the way up because, she's freezing and she just needs it to be really warm. But today, she's sitting in the hot section, the people next to her have their heaters on, full blast. She might turn it down just a little bit, because she doesn't need it that hot anymore because she's getting some additional heat from both sides. It increases the efficiency. So it's really interesting that even in a system as rigid as a building, where you really think that this discretization strategy would have no place, they've used it in very unorthodox and innovative ways to reduce the energy load of the building and make it the most sustainable office building on the planet. Discretization brought us Uber, it brought us TaskRabbit, it brought us Airbnb, and it's brought us the Edge, the most sustainable office building in the world. How can you discretize your industry and change the world? Thank you.